Hey, Battle Bill here with another video, and today we're getting some more Season 6 Great League Go Battle League battles. Look, today's not another Twitch video. I made a promise and I'm keeping it. We actually have a shoutcast submission from a fellow PvPer of the community by the name of Reusenhog. I hope I didn't butcher the heck out of that, and I apologize if I do. Please do correct me in the comment section because I want to make sure I get the name right, because I'm extremely excited for this submission from this fellow PvPer in the community. We're actually doing a feature around Porygon2, and you might be wondering why we're testing out Porygon2 and why this trainer submitted me these battles, other than the fact that it's quite the unique spice Pokemon to test out. Well, Porygon2 also received a move pool update at the midpoint of Season 6, and this update was it received access to Porygon Z's Community Day move of Tri Attack. And Porygon2 does not need any type of special event or Elite TM to get access to Tri Attack, so it was quite the interesting move pool adjustment, and I am very excited to see what that might mean for Porygon2's potential niche play in some Great League Go Battle League battles. Now, Tri Attack is a pretty cheap energy charge move, and it's actually Porygon 2's cheapest energy charge move, and it has the chance, a 50% chance, to debuff the opposing Pokemon's attack and defense. And because Porygon 2 is a bit bulkier, since it's a middle evolution of Porygon Z, it might have a little bit more niche play in Great League Go Battle League battles. Now, I know some other content creators have definitely checked it out, tested out this Pokemon, and I highly recommend you check out their content, and of course, obviously, watch mine too. It's really appreciated, and it's important to get all the information you can to see if, maybe this is a spice Pokemon that can be viable in some Great League Go Battle League battles. This trainer decided to put Porygon 2 together with Azumarill and Pelipper in some form of double water strat, so I'm excited to see what he's going to do to handle electric type Pokemon in the back, considering the fact that Porygon 2 is not exactly a counter for it. So let's see if he runs into any Galvantulas or things along those lines. But let's jump into these battles. I'm extremely excited for it. If you're really enjoying this unique content, because I know the channel has been growing, I really would appreciate a like, comment, or subscribe. And the reason why I stress this so much is because over the past month that I've said this, I've grown the most out of my entire time as a YouTuber, and it's really appreciated for the constant content that I try to give you and the constant valuable content that I try to provide on a daily basis, if you don't mind. But anyhow, let's jump into these battles. Enough of that chitter chatter. We have a Porygon 2 on a Bastiodon lead there, gets to the Zap Cannon quite quickly, and the Zap Cannon did about like 40% of Bastiodon's health, and the lock-ons, they slowly added up there too. Pulls off an amazing catch, knows the Bastiodon count to catch a Stone Edge on the Azu so he can preserve a shield, and here's my exact concern in the form of this first match. A Galvantula in the back, so I guess safe swapping to Azumarill to lure it out and just letting the Azumarill go down immediately was quite the way to deal with it, and let's see if he's able to pull out the win in this situation. He's going to come back into Porygon 2. Definitely doesn't want to go into Pelipper here. And I want you to take note of something, the way he throws his charge move. Lock-on is a 1-turn fast move, where Volt Switch from Galvantula is a 4-turn fast move. You really want to wait for that animation to completely go through before you throw your charge move, because if you throw too early, you're letting them sneak in extra Volt Switches, which is giving the opposing Galvantula extra energy that you really don't want them to have when it's a big weakness to your team comp. So notice how he's not throwing the Tri-Attacks right as he gets to them. He's throwing them like as the Volt Switches are finishing. He ends up going for a second Tri-Attack here, gets the opponent's last shield and another debuff, and because of the fact that he was able to not allow that Galvantula to get extra energy, he gets to another Tri-Attack before dying and takes out the Galvantula. So I guess, maybe Porygon 2 is a Galvantula counter. Maybe. Comes into Pelipper here. The Bastiodon comes back out, but the Bastiodon is pretty low on health because of that Zap Cannon from the Porygon 2 earlier. So he's able to land the Weather Ball, almost takes out the Bastiodon. Does have to worry about the opponent's last Pokemon in the back. Ends up overfarming a bit, going for another Weather Ball. This will take out the Bastiodon, and let's see if he's able to beat the Swampert from full health with a 1-shield Pelipper. The opposing opponent's Pokemon. I'm doing great with the shoutcasts. It's been a minute. I apologize. Let me get warmed up. The opponent's Pokemon is going to need to land a Sludge Wave in order to potentially win this match. He's throwing the shield up because it could have been a Sludge Wave. Is only a Hydro Cannon, which is unfortunate. Gets baited. Going to CMP tie on the charge move. Is this going to be a Sludge Wave? This would take out the Pelipper's remaining health. Ends up being a Hydro Cannon. That's huge. Maybe it was one Mud Shot short, and the opponent knew they were going to CMP tie and was... I don't know what they were hoping for, because the Hydro Cannon just was not going to do the job. Might as well have not thrown the move. Or maybe they were just hoping it would, but it didn't. And the Pelipper lands a Weather Ball, and he wins the first match. Porygon 2 and Pelipper put in some solid work there. Azu ended up just being a meat shield, which was great because Porygon 2, even though it's bulkier than Porygon Z, is quite the glassy Pokemon. So it needed all the extra shields that it could get. Getting into the second matchup, we have quite the interesting matchup here. A Porygon2 on a Haunter. Both of them are double resisting moves. I would assume you want to try and land the Zap Cannon because it would one-shot the Haunter even though it's neutral. Going for the Tri-Attack, maybe baiting. I guess the opponent doesn't know when... Oh, gets a debuff, which is huge there. Maybe the opponent doesn't know where, like, the big charge move is at on Porygon2, considering Lock-On generates energy so quickly. And he calls a Sludge Bomb, which is pretty huge. They could have potentially baited with the Shadow Punch there to get a shield. It's unfortunate that the opponent is running Sludge Bomb, but it would explain why they're still in this matchup, because if they were running Shadow Ball and Shadow Punch, all the moves would be double resisted, and this would be a really slow matchup. Trading double resisted moves back and forth. Ends up shielding again. This ends up being another Sludge Bomb. This opponent's going straight for the big moves. It's a no-shield situation. Probably wants to go for the Zap Cannon. Maybe worried at this point that the Haunter's going to get to another Sludge Bomb that could potentially take out Porygon2's health, even though he did get a debuff on the first Tri-Attack. And unfortunately, was that a CMP tie there? Porygon2 does not win CMP against Haunter, does it? Either way, that Porygon2 survives a Sludge Bomb. He gets to another Tri-Attack. Didn't need Zap Cannon, even though he probably could have gotten to it and avoided getting hit by the Sludge Bomb. It would have been tight. And is able to win the 2-shield against Haunter in a very slow matchup of a bunch of double resisted moves. I guess the Sludge Bomb technically doesn't count because, you know, that would be neutral. But now they're in a no-shield situation, and he really has to hope that there isn't an Electric-type Pokemon in the back, because Azu and Pelipper are probably going to get swept pretty hard by it, depending on if they're able to get to certain charge moves. The Medicham lands a Psychic on the Azu, gets a defense debuff. They come into a Bastiodon here, so luckily no Electric type, and lures out, you know, the super effective rock damage that would be super effective on the Pelipper, and is going to get to another Ice Beam here. Overfarms a little bit, but knows to play into the CMP tie. These are some highly skilled battles that you have to really take into account. This trainer is, look, that was a CMP tie right there. This is a Stone Edge coming through, maybe throws early and the opponent decides to farm down instead, but ends up getting the Stone Edge, which is huge because now the Pelipper doesn't have to worry about getting Stone Edge down. The opponent had to throw when they threw, because if they didn't throw that Stone Edge, then they'd have to worry about a potential Hydro Pump coming through from the Azu, and then their Bastiodon's energy would have been wasted. So again, keep in mind, these are some legend rating battles from this submission, and some highly skilled battles at that, along with the fact that they're super spikes. So let's see what kind of set this trainer is able to pull off with Porygon2. That ends up being an Ice Punch, which is clutch because the Pelipper just barely survives, is going to get to the Hurricane just in time to take out the Medicham's remaining health and win the second match of this set. And again, Porygon2 and Pelipper did some solid work there, because Porygon won lead, which was quite the unique matchup to really watch firsthand. And then again at the end, Pelipper, you know, finishing off the Medicham with the Hurricane is pretty huge. Has a Porygon2 on a Swampert lead here. Not a great matchup. Safe swaps into Pelipper, assuming, I guess, that Swampert probably outpaces it to the charge move, and the Hydro Cannons are going to hurt on the Porygon2. I was quite surprised the opponent decided to throw a Hydro Cannon there. Maybe wanted to help out their Abomasnow in this matchup, but because this Pelipper ended up getting so much extra energy, this is a slightly better situation for the Pelipper. All the moves coming through from Abomasnow are going to be neutral. Weather Ball and Energy Ball are going to be neutral because of Pelipper's Water and Flying typing. Overfarms gets to another Weather Ball here. Does the opponent know that he's not at a Hurricane? That's the question. The opponent must know because they did not shield that. Gonna let... Well, another charge was going to come through. Are they going to let it come through? No, they decided to double shield. They really want to flip switch here because Porygon2 will not have a great matchup up against that Swampert. Committing to the farm down, the Weather Ball would have taken out the Pelipper there, and that was huge, knowing the Abomasnow's energy and knowing the amount of wing attacks that he was going to be able to get through before they got to another Weather Ball that would have taken out the Pelipper. Because of that, farm down now has 2 Weather Balls to deal with the Swampert. Apparently the last Pokemon in the back does not want to see this Pelipper, and the Swampert needs to throw a Hydro Cannon. They will not be able to mud shot down the Pelipper from this health, so he's going to get to another Weather Ball here, gets the opponent's remaining shield. Swampert's almost dead. Charge moves coming through. Is that a CMP tie? I don't remember if he played that into a CMP tie or not, because I also don't know who would win CMP in this situation. I'd want to say Swampert, but it didn't look like it. Either way, this is a much better situation for the Porygon2 here, because the Swampert now has a lot less health, and can actually tank a Hydro Cannon. He built up to the Tri-Attack, but knew that the opponent was going to get to the Hydro Cannon, so he's playing it to over-farm. Going to get another Tri-Attack off here. This will take out the Swampert's remaining health, and the question is, what is the opponent's last Pokemon in the back, and will Porygon2 be able to handle it with this energy advantage? Ends up being an Alolan Marowak, and that's why it's a double water strat. Azumarill comes in, ends the match there. Honestly, might have been able to get to a Zap Cannon there. The Fire Spins and the Bone Clubs might have added up just enough to take out the Porygon2, but for the content, I would have loved to see if he could have built up to a Zap Cannon there and landed it, just to see how much damage it would have done. Getting into this next matchup, we have Porygon2 on the Galvantula lead. Notice again how he's playing it out, allowing the Volt Switch to come fully through before throwing the charge move, and it's huge that the Porygon2 is seeing the Galvantula here, because the backline, again, does not want to see this Electric-type Pokemon. And Galvantula definitely overfarmed. The question is, do you want to shield? He decides to shield. He did get a debuff from the Galvantula, which was pretty huge, and the opponent decides to swap into a Munchlax. This lick damage is going to be double resisted and non-stab, so he decides to stay in with his Porygon2 for a little bit, gets all the way to a Zap Cannon, does about 2/3 of the Munchlax's health before swapping into Pelipper. Gonna let a Body Slam come through. Do you commit to a Wing Attack down? I think if you do, the Munchlax definitely gets to another Body Slam. So probably just going to overfarm a little bit and then throw the Weather Ball. Yeah, okay, all right. I was like, I know certain plays in these certain situations. Does this get the Munchlax's last shield, or do they let the Munchlax go down? They let it go down. It makes sense because Galvantula is bound to come back out. It was a great over-farming situation, but that Galvantula definitely has residual energy from earlier, so let's see how this is going to play out. Over-farms, one Volt Switch comes through. It's so much damage because it's double super effective on Pelipper, but he's able to get through this Weather Ball, which is huge. Opponent does not shield, and it gets the Galvantula really low. Porygon2 has no energy, going to come back into it. Gonna probably commit to a lock-on farm down, not shielding this move. What's it gonna be? Ends up being a discharge. Porygon2 unfortunately does not survive, but will be able to... Ooh, I thought it was gonna be able to bubble down the Galvantula. That's very unfortunate, but has another shield to use on this discharge. Hopefully, whatever the opponent's last Pokemon is something that is Azu can beat. And this is going to be a tight a bit tight. It would have been better if he had Play Rough, which is one negative of running the Ice Beam Hydro Pump matchup. But Azu will resist all the moves from the Scrafty, and they didn't shield. That is quite the call. What if he's running Ice Beam, Play Rough, or Play Rough, Hydro Pump? If he's not running this exact moveset, going straight Play Rough is definitely the play. I don't know why they wouldn't shield that. But, okay, this is down to the wire. Getting to another Ice Beam here. This will definitely get the Scrafty's last shield. And will he be able to get to another Ice Beam before the Scrafty's able to get to a Foul Play to take out the Azumarill? It's looking really tight. This ends up being another Foul Play. The Azumarill survives. Oh, and they CMP tie. The Azumarill kind of looked like it was in the middle of the move, but even if it was a CMP tie, the Scrafty would have won it. Gets to another Foul Play, and the Scrafty unfortunately beats the Azumarill. And not having Play Rough is literally the only reason why he lost that match, because that was the gutsiest no-shield I've seen. I guess they were like, you know, if they have Play Rough, this is GG anyway, because one Play Rough gets a shield, the other Play Rough takes it out. But because, again, the moveset ends up costing, could have been 4-0 in the set, still 3-1, and Porygon2 did some solid work. Getting into the fifth and final match of the set, a Porygon2 on a Jirachi lead, builds all the way up to the Zap Cannon. Is this going to land in a two-shield situation? The Zap Cannon lands! That did an insane amount of damage. Jirachi taking neutral from it, and also Jirachi's quite a glassy Pokemon. Do you just commit to a lock-on farm down before they get to another Doom Desire? That's insane. So essentially goes to a shield disadvantage, which is unfortunate, but landed a Zap Cannon, which is super amazing. Going for another Zap Cannon, because you know it's just amazing content for the video. Unfortunately, that one does not land. Then safe swaps into Pelipper, which is a good safe swap because he has Azu in the back to deal with that Scrafty also. Even though we did kind of see how a Scrafty could beat an Azumarill because of his current moveset. But these Weather Balls are going to threaten the Galarian Stunfisk, and this is not a bad matchup for Pelipper, just because of the fact the Weather Balls are going to be super effective, and the Pelipper has energy advantage. So it should win out this matchup, even though Pelipper is going to take super effective from the Rock Slides coming through. So Porygon, been quite impressive. I'm surprised to see it in a lead, but it makes sense. I feel like another way to potentially play out a team of 3 with Porygon2 would be to try and like use bulky Pokemon to save its shields, and then use it in the back to just throw all the big moves, and if there is a shield, that's what you have Tri-Attack for. But using it in the lead, you landed some big moves regardless, so it had success either way, and I gotta admit, I'm quite impressed with Porygon2. I wonder what some other team comps could be to run around this Pokemon, but it definitely made for some great content, and pulls off a 4-in-1 set once the Azumarill comes in and the Scrafty ends up seeing it. So that is GG's. Ryuzenhog, I apologize again for butchering your name, but thank you so much for the submission. I think I gotta mess around with some Porygon2 also. Let me know what you thought. You guys be the judge. Tell me, is Porygon2 worth the spice play? Were you impressed by what you saw in these battles? I gotta admit, I really was. It was spammy, and getting off those tri-attacks was nice, and those debuffs were quite huge in specific situations. So this could be a Pokemon. Maybe not necessarily, it's not gonna be a big player in Go Battle League, but definitely has some niche play. Nowhere near as bad as the Spice Pokemon that I tested out in the last video. I don't really want to talk about that. But on that note, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm not currently taking any more submissions for Great League because I have 2 more that I want to get through, and then we're going to be transitioning into Ultra League. But if you would like to submit battles to me, Ultra League is coming up soon. The link to my Google Drive is in the description of this video. And on that note, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. As always, the support is extremely appreciated. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next video.